Hello everyone, Loremaster of Sotek, and I apologize being a little late on this, but of course there's a new video out regarding Total War Warhammer 3 revolving around Nurgle, which is of course the Enter the World of Nurgle trailer, but I have been unfortunately having my own little struggles with Grandfather Nurgle, visiting too many blessings upon me, but I'm feeling well enough today to go ahead and finally sit down and watch this video and give my thoughts on it, in addition to discussing the information they've put out about Kugoth Plaguefather as far as his actual faction mechanics, which was released earlier today. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and just hop into the video and see what we've got here. Hopefully Kugoth's voice actor is shown off. Nice.
The Flesh Legion marches.
Oh, they look so good.
Parade
The Nurgling's guts.
upon the dominion of life and decay. A fertile universe.
Oh my god. Ah, that spell is disgusting. There's Kugoth!
The violent rebirth is upon you.
What are those Nurgling animations?
Lies in proliferation.
Kugoth just seems like he's having a grand old time.
The gifts of Nurgle.
My only criticism of this video is that they didn't show Kugoth doing his actual catapult animation. I would have really liked to have seen him throw a Nurgling at people. But man, God, they look so good in game, man. Like, everything looks so good. There's so many random Nurglings everywhere. Like, you got Nurglings sticking out of the Beasts of Nurgle. You got Nurglings sticking out of the Great Unclean Ones. Like, they're just all over the place, which is just fantastic. And then on top of that, they're of course their own unit with its own bizarre animations. They look so good. The boil spell is absolutely hideous. Kugoth, I still can't get over how good Kugoth looks. Like, that is easily the most impressive rack of antlers we have ever seen on a Demon of Nurgle. Like, he's got just so much going on. And that's even before you consider, like, his palanquin and everything else. But he looks hideous. Here we get a look at the Forsaken. The Nurgle Forsaken actually looks pretty good. You know, it's not like rewriting the script or anything. I like how he's just standing here like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I am. But I actually think he looks pretty good. With the effects and stuff they use to try and make him stand out a little bit. Like, it's not a drastically new design, but I think it works really, really nice. Looks good, considering this is the only, like, true mortal unit. Because obviously, well, Chaos Spawn are a mortal unit. You know, they don't look like a person at all. So that's really solid. It looks great. The Nurglings just look stupidly fun, man. And just so many great animations. The Exalted Great Unclean One's great, and then here you got all the Plague Bearers and everything. So many vomit animations. So many vomit animations. Just all of them. Oh man, he looks great. It looks great. I don't really have much else to add. Like, it's a fairly to the point video, and it does its job really well. Here, I can just throw it on loop while I talk for a minute. So, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna have a really hard time not choosing Kugoth as my first playthrough. They have revealed his Lord and faction effects, so the faction effects for Kugoth Plaguefather seem to be that his group gets... It costs him less infection. So infections are the currency for Nurgle, right? So Zinch has Grimoires, Khorne has Skulls, and Nurgle has infections. Infections can be spent on your tech tree. They can also be spent to create diseases. And Kugoth, being, you know, the Brewmaster, the father of plagues, you know, he's kind of the grand innovator and creator among the demons of Nurgle. He has the ability to create new plagues much cheaper than any other Nurgle faction. So he has a reduction in cost in infections for all new plagues. And whenever you're like creating a plague cultist or putting a plague on your army and stuff like that. So not only does he have cheaper access to all of the plagues in the plague culture mechanic, but he also has a higher rate of infection. So whenever, and we kind of talked about this in the mechanics video for all Nurgle factions, but whenever Nurgle creates a disease, there is basically a percentage chance that the infection will spread. And there are different ways you can augment that by how you design the plague. So you can have it where, you know, you drop it on a friendly army and it can spread around to other friendly armies or onto friendly settlements, or you can put it on the enemy and of course it can spread to enemy armies or to enemy settlements. So Kugoth has both he not only has it cheaper to make new diseases, but his diseases are far more likely to spread, which therefore means he gets more infections. Because whenever a disease spreads, you can earn infections through that, which is just awesome. So it seems like Kugoth is kind of going to be like the big boss of disease creation and spreading, if that's really one of the mechanics you want to lean really heavily into, which I definitely do. And then for his Lord traits, which I'm not exactly sure which of these are faction and Lord, not that it really matters, but the Lord trait for Kugoth seems to be about Nurglings, which is that Kugoth Plaguefather's Nurglings are all cheaper, and they also have a higher health pool. So basically, Kugoth just will be able to have these hilariously cheap, massive tar pits of Nurglings who do a fantastic, who I assume will be great for just holding people down and just, you know, slamming them with debuffs and being a general nuisance. But he looks great. Everything about Nurgle looks fantastic. I think of the demons revealed so far, Nurgle is easily my favorite. The only demon faction I could see competing for Nurgle's attention for me personally is probably going to be Be'lakor. If Be'lakor manages to be true Demons Undivided, so he has like a mix of all the dark gods, so he's like the actual tabletop Demons of Chaos from 8th edition, that's gonna be such a unique army design and play experience. Not unique in the sense he'll have stuff that nobody else has, but unique in the sense that he will have access to strategies and builds that nobody else does. But yeah, everything's just looking absolutely fantastic. I presumably, now that we have Kugoth's mechanics and his legendary Lord poster, which you saw in the thumbnail for this video, if you saw that, we are very rapidly coming to the end of Nurgle's showcase. So hopefully we'll be heading off to Slaanesh starting maybe this upcoming week, which would be perfect timing, seeing as Thanksgiving will have been wrapped up. And Thanksgiving is like one of the ultimate Slaanesh holidays. Like Christmas and Thanksgiving are all like, Slaanesh is just so wrapped up in those holidays, through just like gluttony, greed, and everything. That's just fantastic. But I also really like Kugoth's voice actor as well. I do want to make a note. Like, he's a really good take on how to do a Great Unclean One voice. There have been a number of voiced Great Unclean Ones, and one of the things I always worry about when they release like a bunch of new factions at once is that sometimes it seems like Creative Assembly gets into a bit of like a rat race of trying to make more characters with deeper and deeper voices. And so I'm glad that Kugoth's voice is more like abrasive than it is deep. He certainly does not have a deep voice compared to the likes of Scarbrand. I think Kairos has a deeper voice than him too, though Kairos has 2 voice actors. Yeah, but Kugoth sounds great. He's very... He's more of like a dry Flemmy than... Because a lot of the times the Nurgle voice actors, whenever you deal with Nurgle voice entities, will like put it really far back in their throat and do like really wet sounding voices. Like blah, 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 blah. Like they'll go really ostentatious with it. Which he is ostentatious, but it's a different take than I've heard before. He sounds good. He sounds really good. He does not sound as wet and like slimy in his voice as they tend to. And he looks spectacular, dude. He looks absolutely spectacular. There's so many gut mouths. I feel like that was Creative Assembly's clever way to get around having just like giant intestines hanging out and looping around, which I could see may have caused problems. Instead having like giant disgusting mouths with huge tongues that vomit on people and all that stuff. Yeah, Nurgle looks fantastic. He looks absolutely disgusting and just like an absolute ball to play. I cannot wait to mess around with Nurgle and just bring all sorts of horrible contagions and disgusting diseases to the old world, or the Warhammer world. I am really curious how they're gonna balance the plagues as far as other factions' abilities to deal with them. One of my biggest issues with the plague mechanic in Warhammer 2 and also kind of Warhammer 1 is that you never had the ability to like deal with it or interact with it or counter it if you were not playing as like Clan Pestilens or Norska. So hopefully there's like a system in place that allows you to act against these diseases so that like if you want to dedicate resources to like doing quarantines and stuff, you can. But I don't know, we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. I hope you all have a lovely Thanksgiving, those of you who are celebrating it. And to the rest of you, I hope you just have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.